Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Hey, we're pumped to talk to this guy. He's the upper school dean of students at Kings Ridge Christian School in Alpharetta. And first of all, Alan, how are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Thank you very much.
Alan Oliver, if you'll check, I checked LinkedIn because I like to find out about our guests. This gentleman and his family have been everywhere. I'm going to do a little bit of a chronicle. I'm sure I'll miss some pieces. Mississippi College, and then Beeson Divinity School, then ended up in Ohio, and then did you go back to Alabama and then Gwinnett? That's it, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of the journey. My wife went to medical school and then did her residency in Cincinnati. So she did medical school at UAB while I was in seminary. And then we moved back for her to do her fellowship at Children's in Birmingham. And then she started working with the CDC. And so we moved to Gwinnett County. But her family's been in Gwinnett County since for over 20 years. So
that's awesome. And not only that, we mentioned before we went live that you worked with Apple for about 5 years. Dan and I are huge Apple fans, so it's good to talk to you. I said all that to say this: how in the world did you get to Kings Ridge? Now, in the process, you're the upper school dean right now, but you started teaching what, 5th and 6th grade? Is it just boys, or is just those grades?
Yeah, both 5th and 6th grade Christian ed for a year and a half or so.
Yeah,
and then taught 6th grade English and history before moving into this position. But also did IT for the school as well. That's kind of how I got started there. My brother-in-law worked at the school as an English teacher for the upper school, and was like, "Hey, we really could." Use somebody in IT. Would you be interested? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So I got in that way, and then slowly worked my way towards getting to teach, and now in administration.
So you were a utility player, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Wear whatever hat they need me to wear. That's right. And still do sometimes.
All right.
Hey, isn't that's something, because utility players, how valuable are utility players, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can slide them in just about anywhere. Is that something that you've possibly communicated to students over the years? Hey, just learn as much as you can in so many fields so that you're always relevant, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's value into being available to plug in wherever you can. There's a great movie called Robots where he talked about that. The theme of the movie is see a problem, find a solution. And that's kind of been my movement through life, is wherever there's a need, try to fit into that, try to find a solution for that.
Now, when you were doing IT, did you make it to where only you could fix it, so you are indispensable?
No.
Okay.
Relied heavily on a team of people to, be the best solution that we could be.
Okay. Because sometimes I think IT people do that.
No, we definitely, it may seem that way sometimes, but we're not operating that way.
Good. Okay.
We have such a great IT team at Salem, not just here in Atlanta, but, corporate wide. But it seems like every time I call them and they're right there, they'll help out, but the problem fixes itself. And I always say, look, I'm not crazy.
It was happening. I promise.
Something is going on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It frustrates even the IT people, the fact that, there's something that you're like, it's been messing up. Messing up. And then the second you call someone else in to look at it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's no problem.
Yeah, love that. All right. Yeah. Alan Oliver, he is the upper school dean of students there. Now, you've been there, let me see, I think I read 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. And finishing up my 6th year. Yeah.
Okay. And you've been upper dean for what, about a year or so?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about Kings Ridge Christian School. What stands out to you? I mean, you've been there for quite a while. What stands out about this school to you personally?
Well, and I think we had an interview process for some of our juniors moving into senior leadership over the a couple of weeks ago. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me was something that every one of those students in some form or fashion indicated, in a similar vein, that it just feels like family. And that really is something that stands out about the community at Kings Ridge. From the student body to the staff, to the families that make up Kings Ridge Christian School, it really just does feel like family. If you're hurting or there's something going on, they're going to reach out to take care of you. If it's about building each other up and moving everyone forward. That really is the goal. There's just it's kind of odd, it's like when you talk about what a church is, it's talking about being God's family, and that's really what you start to feel and sense, or at least I have in my experience at Kings Ridge Christian School.
What is it that you guys want every student to walk away with when they graduate, knowing that this is we've accomplished our job if they walk away knowing this at Kings Ridge?
Knowing that, one, they're not alone. That's really is a big thing that we want our students to understand, is that they're not going about life by themselves. We want them to understand that they're known, they're heard, they're seen, and that's something they should expect as they move forward too. Is that there are people who see them, who know them, who care deeply about them, and that they have a responsibility to continue that process leaving here. And we feel like we've been successful if that's what our students are leaving with, is the realization that they are known and seen, and that they go about continuing to know and see others as they live and proceed out of Kings Ridge.
Alan Oliver is with us. He's the upper school dean of students, Kings Ridge Christian School, and their community that provides college prep education, equipping students to know, to serve, and believe. I saw the video on the website, and it's so well done. But I don't think there's a sport that Kings Ridge doesn't play. I mean, and that's pretty awesome, right? Because it's not only focusing on college prep on the academic side, but I mean, it's just really cool to see all those sports represented.
Well, and it's really been an important part of the process at Kings Ridge, is to be able to provide a full experience for our students. And even though we're not a huge school, to be able to offer as much as we do, it does mean that a lot of our kids, participate in multiple sports. So we have some incredibly gifted students out there who are, really giving of themselves and their talents to, make us look like that video shows. It's not just a pretty video. It is truly what our students represent and how they perform.
Alan, tell us a story, if you can think of one, of just a student that's kind of impacted you, that maybe you saw them come in and they were one way, and then when they finished, it was just blew your mind.
Wow, there's quite a few of them, but if I think about, wow, one of the first students that I kind of got to know was an individual named Sean. And a good kid, not your like superstar student or anything like that, but worked hard, did the best he could, got the grades and got by. We've stayed connected as he's proceeded through college. He's about to graduate from there. And just really has taken on the challenges of life. He's really had to kind of battle some things, and constantly refers to experiences that he's had at Kings Ridge, the teachers who cared for him and pointed him in the right direction, the times and conversations that we've had, while he was at school. Also, as he's been out of school, we continue to connect and grow together. Just him sharing what an encouragement and how it's just helped him continue to grow and develop despite the challenges that he's faced. That's one of those stories that it sticks with you. That's it's not just a story. It truly is a person we're doing life with, and I think that's what being at Kings Ridge is all about.
Yeah.
The way you describe that, it is a position, but it's really a calling you guys have and have just imparted into these young men and women. And then I think it's really cool that you're able to hear from them, some years down the road, and that's near and dear to their hearts. I mean, it's got to make you guys feel like, man, we're right exactly where God wants us to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, even in the challenging times of where kids are being kids, you can't look at the right now. You've got to remember that there's a path that's being walked down. There's a journey that's going on, and there's ups and downs in that. But when you talk about calling, that really is what I think is significant to each staff member at Kings Ridge. It's part of the interview process that we have with them. Is why do you feel called to Kings Ridge? What is your calling what do you think God has called you to? Just in life, it's not just about what it means at Kings Ridge. What has God called you to? And those are people that we're looking for, because we do think that's significant to the mission and work that we do at Kings Ridge. Absolutely.
That's so good. Alan Oliver is the upper school dean of students at Kings Ridge Christian School. You can go to kingsridgecs.org. Alan, we'd love to catch up with you in August, right before you start off for what, 2022, 2023? Did I say? Is that right?
You did. You said it right, Rick.
Crazy.
Man, you nailed
that sounds
it,
weird.
I've been saying 2020 for years now. I don't know what's going on. But if you will, let's catch up in August, and we'll look ahead and see what's going on with you guys. Blessings to you. We appreciate you, and health and wellness to your entire family there. KingsRidgeCS.org is the place to go to. Alan Oliver and the entire team there at Kings Ridge. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.